On X, TikTok, Instagram, and in comment sections all over, people are begging, pleading for someone out there to just do it. In these pleas, the subject is never stated, the action is never spelled out, but somehow we all know exactly what's being said. But in case you are somehow still in the dark, these memes are about unaliving Trump.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
Hey, what's up, guys? So that's been the rhetoric from the liberal mainstream media and Democrat politicians for the past decade. And now you just had a third assassination attempt on President Trump's life, all because the left continues to rile up their base. And now listen to what Jimmy Kimmel had said just a few days before the White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Okay, so that was Jimmy Kimmel doing a skit where he's at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And for him to make that joke, it was just very distasteful. I mean, like, for you to actually direct a joke towards a first lady and say that she looked like an expected widow, really? Are you being serious? Like, does he not realize up until this point, there have been 2 assassination attempts on President Trump's life? And you want to make a joke like that? See, this is what I mean about all the BS coming from the left. And then you also had President Obama. Listen to what he tweeted out here because it's just insane. He tweeted this out the next day in the afternoon. That would have been, I guess, Sunday afternoon, when all the information about the shooter was available. Although we don't have the details about the motives behind last night's shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, it's incumbent upon all of us to reject the idea that violence has any place in our democracy. It's also a sobering reminder of the courage and sacrifice the U.S. Secret Service agents show every day. I'm grateful to them and thankful that the agent who was shot is going to be okay. Really? I mean, this is a despicable tweet coming from a former president who was unable to acknowledge the fact that the shooter was obviously a leftist and he was out there to assassinate President Trump. And again, at this point, when he tweeted this out around 5 p.m. on Sunday afternoon, the information was already out by Sunday morning that this shooter was a leftist. His manifesto was out there in public. Yep, President Obama, after 6 hours after the information was made public, he tweeted this out. Also, I want to play you this clip here that's gone viral recently, and it just hit my timeline. It's of Representative Andy Ogles, and listen to what he says, what one reporter told him when they were hiding underneath the dinner table.
There was a reporter, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it. There was a reporter in the room who was under a table, and when the shots went off and everybody's hiding, she said, "I hope they killed the orange MF." That was a journalist in the room who was hoping that when she stood up, the President of the United States would be dead. So I'm coming to a public venue where I know it might be hostile to expose myself to an honest dialogue, an open dialogue. And if you ask me a question and I don't have an answer, I will get you something in writing or we can talk on the phone. But when you have members of the press openly enticing, hoping, talking about killing the chief executive officer of this country, again, Muslim, Jew, Hindu, I don't care. That's a problem.
I'm sorry, what did she say?
I hope they killed the orange MF.
Okay, so that is actually crazy, coming out of a reporter's mouth during a live shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I was taking a look at Twitter, and Melanie Lauren tweeted this out. Any reporter who says that they hope the president is killed should be banned from the White House and any White House-related events forever. And they should be thoroughly investigated for any ties to treasonous plots against the president and the government. 100%. This reporter, whoever she is, has to be found. And she has to be stripped of her White House credentials. 100%. Like, this can't go on. She should not be anywhere near the president or the White House. Okay, so now I want to turn my attention to the people on the left, those leftist lunatics, because you had some of these dumbasses actually make videos on TikTok talking about that they wish that the shooter never missed or that, this was all a hoax. But before that, guys, if you want to support this channel, please leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Or if you want to further support this channel, you can join and become a channel member.
God damn it, they missed again. Who doing the fucking shoot? Shit! Bitch, where my motherfucking wine? That done pissed me off again.
I am loving how pissed off the maggots are. I mean, it sucks that they missed. And it was most likely staged. But, damn it. Can't we hope? Is there no room for a hope in this country anymore? No, there's not. We have a rapist pedophile who is nothing but a con artist stuck in our White House. Somebody... stop missing!
We're cooked as a country when my first reaction to hearing the news about Trump's attempt was, it was probably fake. Like, immediately I was like, oh, that wasn't real. Probably fake. And the second was, aw, they missed? So happy they missed. Oh. Yeah, that's sad. That's when you know we're cooked.
Man, there's been a few creators on here saying that, like, Friday or yesterday could have been the day. And then I wake up to that news, but not that news. We're gonna have to pay really close attention to what they're trying to actually distract us from.
Okay, so those were some of the reactions coming from the left. And while all of them have not been held accountable for their comments, one actually did. The very last one, Corinne Baum, she is a kindergarten teacher in Cincinnati, and she actually got fired. People on the right, they started doing their work, and let's take a look at this tweet here from Libs of TikTok. It says, breaking, Cincinnati kindergarten teacher Corinne Baum has been fired following a video where she complained that Trump wasn't assassinated. Another one bites the dust. Good riddance. Like, when are these people actually going to learn? Like, we continuously see these people on the left making videos like this ever since the Charlie Kirk assassination and then also the 3 failed assassination attempts on President Trump. And it's just always people on the left, getting canceled, fired, finding out for videos like this. People on the right, we don't get canceled for stuff like this. First off, we don't post stupid shit like this. We get canceled for other reasons. But that said, these videos, they all come from the left. And you know what? I want to play you this next clip of Dan Bongino because he perfectly describes how all this political violence is coming from the left.
Please stop trying to murder the president. That is the clearest sign I've ever seen from the left. Do you think we're turning a point? And how much did the rhetoric have to do with this?
Yeah, we're turning a point, all right, for the worse, not for the better. Listen, having been an agent for over 12 years in the Secret Service, 12 years, and having spent a good amount of time in a protective intelligence squad where you actually go out and interview these people who threaten the president and our protectees, I think there's an assumption on the left where there's no shame in threatening the president's life on the left. So this isn't a both sides thing. So we can just cut that garbage out right now and just stop the nonsense. On the right, okay, on any respected kind of mainstream figure on the right, if you were to go out and even imply someone should be physically hurt on the left for their ideas, you're almost instantly shamed out of the movement. There is no such corresponding effect on the left. You just mentioned the name. I don't even want to mention this guy's name because he's such a zero. But he's out there implying that, physical violence is okay and is a means of fighting back against a man or systemic discrimination, whatever crap they throw out there. And not only, Rachel, is there no shame, you're welcomed in open arms on mainstream left-wing podcasts where they're like, hey, come on in and spew this bile out there. There is no such corresponding movement on the right. There is no both sides, folks. Stop telling yourself that. It's not true. You would never be allowed on this network. You work here. I've worked here a long time. You would never be allowed in this network even joking around about that stuff. You'd be gone. They pull you off mid-segment. They don't allow that stuff. It's not a both sides thing. It is garbage.
Okay, so yeah, Dan Bongino's 100% correct here. If you're looking at political violence in the U.S. for the past decade, although the mainstream media wants to claim that this is a right-wing, far-right thing, it's not. When you look at it, sure, there are some people on the right that do it, but just look at the facts. You have Antifa and those anti-ICE protests. Joe King's rally, think about how violent they got, where you have people throwing bricks at police cars. Think about all the bombings, the Tesla stations, the assassination attempt on Charlie Kirk, 3 on President Trump. It just doesn't end with, BLM also. Think about the billions of dollars in property damage. Yet, the liberal mainstream media will always say this is a far right issue when that's hardly the case. Name me a time, think about a really important time where you have people in the far right actually do something as bad as the left in the last decade. You can't really name any. This is a left side issue. But the problem is that you have people in the Democrat Party, the establishment, and the liberal mainstream media refusing to ever call out their side about all these terrorist attacks. They don't even acknowledge Antifa. That's how bad it is. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please do leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.